Unscripted.
Unshackled.
Uncouth.
What you're about to hear is for mature ears only.
It's Miguel Fuller.
I would show anything. I'd show my hee-hee and my hoo-hoo and my ha-ha.
Holly O'Connor.
Hey, Daddy, you want to take this to the bedroom?
And Scotty the Body.
I am officially not only the grill daddy, but I'm a hot grill daddy.
Oh, wow.
It's the Miguel and Holly Uncensored podcast.
Only from Hot 101.5, Tampa Bay's new hit music.
Happy Friday! Yeah. We got a couple things going on today's podcast.
Oh, okay.
We got a special guest from The Bachelor coming on.
Ooh, The Bachelor.
The Bachelor. Yeah, he's a hot young man.
Ooh, that sounds so tasty.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah, and Holly.
Hi,
Holly. We got a email from yesterday.
Oh, I love the email.
Yes,
Okay.
from Wednesday's podcast.
All right, starting to drift a little bit.
I'm so excited.
I love it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we got an email from Wednesday's podcast that we got to get to.
Oh, was that the one the guy called about today?
Yes. He sent me an email.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
I don't know which way this is going to go.
Yeah, so we had a guy that called in earlier today. And Scott, go ahead and get the phone ready for the podcast. We had a guy call up and say, hey, what's your email address? I have something to tell you all about.
Wednesday's He's like, I've been listening to Wednesday's podcast and I can't find your email and I need to email you.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, thank you very much. I was like, this could go either
Hello?
way. This could be bad or
Oh,
good.
Connor?
Hey,
Hello. We've got Connor.
what's going on?
Welcome to Miguel and Holly Uncensored. So we know that you have a short time frame to be on with us, but just to catch everyone up, because we literally just started recording our podcast, and he said he has to bounce in a little bit for some tea time.
I'm sure
Oh,
that's
tea time.
his
Like
words
tea time?
and not yours, Miguel, because I feel like you don't speak that way.
No. Actually, you didn't say bounce, did you? No, you said I have tea time coming up.
I have tea time. Yeah, I mean, beautiful day out in St. Pete. You got to take advantage of it, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So let's just tell you who Connor is. Connor is a local resident here in St. Pete
Nice.
who has been on national television.
Woo!
You were on
Whoa,
The Bachelorette.
That's nuts.
I was. It was quite the experience, not gonna lie. But I'm washed up now. Not gonna lie. It's been a couple years, but it's still pretty fun to kind of reminisce, watch the shows back, even watch the new Bachelor right now. It's been kind of relived the whole experience.
Yeah. No, I can only imagine. We talked to a guy that I used to know that lived here that was a reporter. I don't know if you know him, Garen. He was just on the latest season of The Bachelorette, and we talked to him this fall, and he was talking about it. And so I feel like he's still living in that world right now, in like doing interviews and the being in the Bachelor Nation. Do you have any contact with it all? Are you like, I'm done, it's over, bye?
I mean, once you kind of get on it and you don't become the Bachelor afterwards, it's hard to get back into it. I still keep in contact with most of the guys from my season and just following it through social media and everything. It's just cool to still connect and have those people at the time come up to you, recognize you, everything like that. But like I said, I'm washed up now, just kind of living life, focusing on myself, focusing on my family. But it was still a good experience.
With dating right now, I mean, are you dating anybody right now? I don't know if you're single or in a relationship. Okay, so you're...
No,
okay.
I am in a relationship, yeah.
How was that going into a relationship after being on The Bachelorette? Like, do they know you from the show? Is it like a topic of discussion in the beginning? How does that go?
No, I mean, so personally, how I met my girlfriend now was through the gym. She didn't really know anything about The Bachelor, Bachelorette, which is a great thing. Like I said, I've been out of the game with that national TV for probably 3-4 years now.
Yeah.
Maybe 3 years, I don't even know. But it's slowly dwindled away, which is completely fine with me. But I think for anything, but once I was ready to take that step and move into an actual, the next step of my life with a girlfriend and marriage and everything like that, that's when all that stuff kind of goes away. But you could play the game and kind of tee up, so to speak, the national TV. Hey, I was out there. Hey, you recognize me, stuff like that. But now that I'm moved on from that, it's good to find somebody that doesn't really care if I was on TV or not. Loves me for me.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like all of us sitting in this room right now, Holly, Scott, and myself, we'd be like 10 years later. Did you know?
I have a plaque on my wall.
I was on national television.
Like in your bio still. Like on
Yeah,
Instagram.
exactly. That's how I introduced myself.
I love it.
Connor, I was on national TV, whatever.
I love it. Well, we're not talking to you about that. We're actually talking about something that if you go to Connor's Instagram, you can see that you are very much a fitness guy. And you and I have participated in this really cool free virtual program that the people over at Social Mind Body have sort of rolled out for Tampa Bay, these free workouts. I recorded a podcast with these two runners to do a virtual 5K, which is out now. And then Connor, you just did a free workout. Sort of walk us through what you did.
Yeah, so let me correct you right there, Miguel. Mind Body Social. I got you on that.
Thank you.
But yeah, it's all virtual. It's all free. So it's super cool. I've been into health and fitness for pretty much my entire life. Played college and professional baseball, but that's how I kind of got the passion for it. But long story short, I teamed up with Mind Body Social to introduce a virtual workout for anybody and everybody. So, if you go to my page or go to the Mind Body Social swipe up link, you can see all these different type of workouts with all these local trainers, yogis, everybody. So any type of level you're at, any type of fitness or interest you have there, it's there for you. So it's cool to have that network of people that we can connect with locally as well as across, the nation to go about these workouts whenever you want, especially with the quarantine and the COVID and everything like that. It's cool to have an indoor workout or go to a park by yourself and get that same type of workout in.
That's really cool. I like that it's accessible for everybody. It's not just targeting like a certain group of people. Cause like, for example, myself, I'm not that into fitness, but I'm trying to do workouts so that I can help myself. But it seems like this is for everybody like that. And I like that it feels inclusive.
Yeah. And that's the thing too. I mean, sometimes on my page, I like to present my fitness and my kind of training style, which might freak people out, might not. And, whatever level you're at, doesn't matter, because through my company, through my brand, through my teachings, I work with anybody and anybody. So, young kids to 9-to-5ers to rehab elder people, it doesn't really matter. You could still get a workout in, and it's about starting at your fitness level and what your interests are so that you can progress and make it a lifestyle change, and you can see your body feeling better, looking better, and have kind of confidence to know what movements are going to help you, for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I love that. That's so
really
cool.
So you did in Siesta Key a video, and is it just like a 20-30 minute workout that you lead people through?
Yeah, there's a warm up in there, but it's about, I would say about 25 to 30 minutes in total, of 4 different blocks, and we go through, upper, lower, total body, and there's modifications again for any fitness level. Let me make that clear. So if you want to hop on there and check it out, you guys will have modifications if you're just starting out at that beginner level, or, you could spice it up with me and get after it. But it's all based off time, which I find is very good fitness kind of strategy for anybody. So again, if you're just starting out, you can still get work done in that time interval. Or if you're at that, expert level, you can, again, like I said, I like to use the word spice it up because that's what it is, but you could spice it up with me and get after it.
Because this is our podcast and we're not in a super professional setting, I have to ask this question because I see Scott is like looking through your Instagram now. Are you shirtless in this video that you did with Mind Body Social, or are you fully clothed?
How about this? Why don't you go swipe up and see for yourself?
Oh,
Adam.
Now, that is a man that was on national television who knows how to tease.
Major market teaser right there.
I love it.
Exactly. There you go.
Well, real quick, what is your Instagram if people want to go take a look?
Yeah, so my social media Instagram is at IAM_CJO. And again, I have kind of my lifestyle brand on there. I'm starting to promote some more workouts through my social media and through YouTube channel that again targets everybody and anybody, teaching, proper movements in the gym, total body workouts, lower, upper, core, stretching, if you will. But also I have a website, CJO Fitness, and it's also on my social media as well that you guys can check out, my page, what I'm about, and, we connect from there. And like I said, hit me up, message me, let me know you're interested, and I'm only here to help and progress anybody at any level they're at.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with us and letting us harass you a little bit.
Yeah, loved it.
And go enjoy your tea time before the weather gets bad here
Yes.
in St. Pete this weekend.
Wish me luck out here. Thank you, guys.
Awesome. All right, we'll talk to you later.
Bye.
All right, peace and love. Have a good one.
So yeah, it's really cool. Mind Body Social. I didn't do it. I helped
Come on, Miguel.
record. I interviewed 2 like long distance runners, and one of the women that I interviewed, she recently did like a 50K, like insane. Like the people that asked me to do this, because like it's all for free, and I was like, yeah, I love promoting anything with health and wellness, and they were like, well, we want you to record this sort of long form podcast, basically, where you interview these 2 runners. Do you need any help? I'm like, no, I'm just curious. And so like I just sat and asked them about their experiences when it comes to running. You're supposed to listen to it when you do a 5K on your own, whether you're walking or running. So I talked to them about their experience, and it was just super fascinating.
I would always feel like, because I have no idea about anything, I wouldn't even know what's a dumb question.
If you
know
ever,
what I mean? Like I would be like, I can't do this, because I'd be like, how many miles is a 5K again? And they'd be like, who got this dumb bee to interview us? So I feel like I can't do those types of interviews because I know so little.
Well, that's why I approached it as like hey, I have absolutely no clue about that world. Like I can talk about CrossFit and what we do there, but I have no clue how to do anything when it comes to running. So it was really fascinating. So if you're curious, Mind Body Social, they're doing these, they're releasing these videos, and it's really interesting, their story, where they are from Miami and they did it down there with Kimmy B, who you hear at nights on our station.
I saw you on her story, and that's when I was like, oh, I see what's going on.
Yeah, so she did it down there. So she connected me with them because she knows I'm into CrossFit and stuff, and said, hey, can you help them out? Because she did a very similar thing with them. So yeah, so it's really cool. It's all for free. So just check that out. But to be completely honest, I didn't realize until halfway through us talking to Connor that I saw him maybe like 2 years ago. It was like maybe right after he was off The Bachelorette.
Oh.
And I remember seeing him at Publix on 4th and 38th.
Yeah.
He goes to our Publix?
Yeah. I mean, now this was like a couple of years ago, because it just hit me as he was talking.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to like go up to him and be like, hey, I'm Miguel from the radio. We'd love to chat with you sometime. But I didn't know his name. And like, I was trying to like look it up real quick. And then by the time I found his name, he was already gone.
Yeah.
And so I was like, when he had to go to a tea time. So I was like, there's no use in telling that story. But yeah, but he seems really, really nice.
Yeah. Sounds like a great guy.
Scott, because I feel like when you look at guys like that, do you feel some sort of way?
Like what do you mean?
Like I saw you looking through his Instagram when I showed you his picture earlier. I mean, you were like looking, like you went deep in his Instagram.
Well, you know, I think like the lifestyle that he lives is there's a couple things that overlap with my type of lifestyle. So it's like, I respect it. And I know like it takes a lot of work. Cause if you go to his Instagram, like he just said, like the dude's ripped, like just wow. And it's impressive. Like I look at guys and that's like, it's not even any like sexual way. It's like, I'm like, damn.
It's
go,
like an
buddy.
Inspirational thing.
Absolutely. It's I look toward that. And I'm like, I like it. I respect it because I do know the work that goes into making that happen, because that is no easy feat at all. That is constant work.
Right.
And so for me, I'm like, it's almost like, all right, cool. That's manageable. I can do that. And then it's like, that's one of those things that in my head, when I go probably work out later today, I'm like, all right, cool. Let's make a step toward that. If I wanted to, but again, those goals aren't exactly where I want to be. It just depends. I go through phases all the time, whether it's like I want to be a little thicker, I want to be a little slimmer, I want to be a little more cut when it comes to fitness and stuff.
Some thickums. Hey.
But the fitness world is something I'm really starting to consider like having as another side hustle as soon as I manage the rest of my life. Tapping that.
Once.
Well, yeah, that'll be down the line, but it is something I love. I've always loved fitness and stuff. And I've always kind of thought about maybe becoming a physical trainer and doing all that stuff to maybe even have a side business, but that wouldn't be anytime now, but it's what he's doing. And so to see somebody that's doing it and being successful at it, I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool to see somebody doing something I potentially might want to do.
For sure.
Yeah. I looked at his Instagram and I was like, oh my God, girl.
Yep. Miguel showed me and I was like, oh my, like this
Dude
is what
ripped.
when I see that, I'm like, like I respect this man.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And Scott's right. I respect his hustle, and like I see all the hard work that goes into not only his job and what he's doing, but also his body. And I don't know, like if I was totally single, I wouldn't even. I'd be like, oh, that's not. It's like art. Like you go to a
Mm.
museum.
So interesting.
And
Yeah.
you're like, oh, that's pretty. That's really nice. That's sexual. It's attractive. It's not for me.
See, that's so like
that
it took me
weird?
so well, kind of because I
that
think in a
weird?
lot of our minds, and it's something that kind of takes some time to like readjust because this is where I kind of just pinpoint in the last couple minutes. It's like I look toward him, and my natural competitive side comes out, and I'm like, all right, bitch, like I want to compete, like I want to make my body better physically. Weirdly enough, like that's how I started working out when I was younger
Yeah.
because I didn't have a lot of stuff really
Well, I
going
think
in my
that
favor.
Makes sense.
Well, yeah, but it's like, okay, if I could at least be stronger and better built, like that could make me stand out better than you. That could make me, and the second hand of it, more attractive. And so it took me a couple years to finally realize, I was like, wait, no, actually, I guess that's not even on one of the top 3 that, in my case, the ladies were looking for. It was kind of just like a little, oh, that's a positive, cool. But it was nowhere near as high of a priority for them as it was for me.
Mhm.
Like literally, it doesn't matter as much as I get in my head and I'm like, oh my God, I feel like crap. Like a girl's not going to be like, yeah, no, you look bad today. Not doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel
Yeah.
like, and Holly, you can speak on this more than I can. But I think that's where sort of like gay men and women separate when it comes to how they look at men.
Very much.
Women can be like, oh, girl, I don't want that. Bye. Whereas, like, as a gay man, if I were single, I would have been like, girl, I'm about to get this bitch. He don't know. I may got about 5 chins on this bitch, but he gonna eat one of them. Hey.
Good Lord.
Oh, yeah. That was my mentality. I was like, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna shoot my shot. I don't care. Now I'm like, not so much. But for women, Holly, you're like, no.
It doesn't seem even realistic. And
Right.
even if I thought and maybe this is like this is probably an individual self-esteem issue that goes back to like middle and high school.
Yeah.
I'm like, he definitely is not in my league. I would never even assume that a guy like that look like that would
Right.
even like want to talk to me. A.
Yeah.
B, it's like we don't have anything in common. Like if we were even able to like, let's just say grab drinks or something,
Right.
I'd be like, I eat pizza sometimes. I don't know what to talk to you about. Like it just doesn't compute. It does not compute. Which I hate always like being like the female representative sometimes. Kind of like how you sometimes don't want to be like the representation of Black people.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know women are so diverse, and this is a broad stroke. However, it's like I need there to be a little something in my fantasy that connects me to reality in order to let that fantasy continue. Like,
Explain.
I need it to be slightly realistic. So, like to me, I looked at his Instagram and I'm like, obviously this is a very attractive man.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like there's not anything that would tether it to reality for me. We wouldn't go out.
Right.
If we did, we'd have nothing that's in common. Like I'm not interested and he's not interested. Like that's not even going to become a fantasy for me because I'm like, that's like watching a movie. I don't know.
See, but here's what I've realized, and especially, and this maybe could be more the gay world. I don't know about like straight men that look like how Connor looks. But what I discovered in working in gay clubs and like hosting drag shows, and in the gay clubs, they would have these like really attractive male dancers that would come in that look like Connor. And when I first started working there, I would be like embarrassed to almost talk to them because I'm like, oh my gosh, like they're so hot. And back then I was just like shapes. Like I just didn't work out. Like I was just like, wasn't confident at all in myself whatsoever. And I remember one of the dancers one time we were chatting before the night got started. And he's like, listen, most of these guys that look like that, they're working out to overcompensate for something.
100%. I get
So
that now.
they
I
are
do
not
get that.
right. So they're not coming in here being like, look at me. Like they may do that, but that's an act to make themselves feel that way. But and he was like, I've seen so many male dancers, if they're not the center of attention that night, and usually it'll be like some new young guy that'll get all the attention and all the money, and like maybe someone who's a couple years older, they will cry in the back because like nobody paid them any attention. So believe me when I tell you, Miguel, that like you okay.
Yeah.
And my mind was like, boof.
I know, but I can't, like, it must be a psychological thing that I can't shake. And I mean no disrespect to that type of person, by the way.
No.
I just don't, I feel like maybe there's a trust issue or there's like some kind of, I honestly haven't haven't sat with this to psychoanalyze it.
Right.
So I'm not well spoken on it, but there's something there. There's something where I'm just like, that's not for me.
Scott, you had something to say?
Well, it made me think of what you just said when like people, they work out constantly, like there's something else that's going on. So when you're intimidated to talk to them, and I thought about it because I just did an Ask Me Anything on my Instagram yesterday. So at Scott Tavlin, it's not going to be there anymore, but I do them like every week. And my buddy, he's like a good friend of mine, which was interesting that he asked this. Because earlier in the show, like I took off my shirt in the studio because I was hot. Like I literally was like sweating, and it was a whole video thing. It was a funny moment.
By the way, the TikTok that Miguel made with that, hilarious.
It was just funny. It was like, why am I without a shirt? And then my buddy asked me on my Ask Me Anything, he's like, would you have taken your shirt off if you didn't look the way you did? And I don't know what the answer he was looking for, but the honest answer that I said, and like I kind of got transparent, I hope people really took it to heart, is like, probably not, because the only reason I really started working out was because I was very self-conscious about my body. And the only reason I continue to work out is because I'm still very self-conscious about my body. And even in that video, what a lot of people don't understand is like the minute I saw it, as soon as I saw it, I started judging myself. And I looked at myself and I said, like, what the ew? Like, I just didn't like it. And I talked about that in my story. And I was like, I had to correct my brain to be like, no, bitch, you're fine. You look okay. Don't obsess over these little things. But that's the other side that people don't see. It's like you may see in like, oh my God, showing off, flexing, probably so cocky. But the other side of it is like, wait, the second I saw that, I was already becoming critical on the way I looked. And so to answer my buddy's question, I was like, no, I probably wouldn't have posted it because I didn't even know what it looked like before it was posted. And then I looked closer. I didn't want to take it down because I wasn't thrilled with it, because that wouldn't be authentic to this story. So it kind of just goes deeper into understanding. It's like people that, whether they look a certain way or have a certain lifestyle, it's like there is a different layer to it.
Yeah.
That is a little deeper.
I mean, I think the biggest thing to take away is that everybody has insecurities.
Yes.
No matter, I'm sure if we had more time to chat with Connor and to, dig a little more deeper, he would reveal that maybe it's his skin or back acne or whatever the case may be. Like everybody deals with some sort of insecurity.
Mm-hmm.
It's universal.
Yeah.
It's universal to everyone, and no one can escape that. And like I've gotten to the place now where I was always like, one day with CrossFit, I'm going to look like that. I'm going to look like Connor. I'm going to look like Scott. And then about a year ago, I was like, in order to do that, I don't want to cut out the things that I need to cut out to make that happen. I just want to be healthy. I just don't want to have a heart attack. I don't want to have high blood pressure.
You want to be healthy.
Exactly. And like, that's where I've come to. And like, there's just one picture of me from when we were doing, I think it was the American Music Awards or the Billboard Awards, where I just looked healthy. And that picture is on my dream board because I'm only like 10 pounds away from that. But like, that's when I like felt good about myself. And that doesn't happen very often where I'm like, oh, Miguel, you look good. But I remember taking that picture and being like, okay, bitch, you look good. I'm like, I just want to get to that moment again. And then I'm good there. I don't need a six pack. I don't need to take my shirt off anywhere. It's just for me and Abe. And that is it.
Yeah.
All right. Before we end, let's get to this email that we got.
Almost forgot. I'm so curious. This was in regards to Wednesday's podcast.
Yes, when we were talking about women faking the big O. So if you missed that, go check out.
I feel like we could have talked on that for like another hour, by the way.
Oh,
absolutely. I got so many messages about that.
Oh, really?
Yes. Everyone wants to let me know
that they're faking it.
Yes. Not to me. I haven't been with that many, but
I know.
Wait, when you say people, was it women you've been with that were like?
No, it's just women in general letting me know that it's a thing. And I was like,
also, women don't remember like specific instances of like faking it or like they'll remember really good times, but they don't remember like no one's gonna be like, hey, on the 23rd, I faked it. Like nobody even remembers. It's fine.
Anyway,
here's the message from David.
Oh, here.
Hi.
Hey.
Just finished listening to. Damn it! Sorry, notifications.
Okay.
Hi, just finished listening to the captioned and felt inclined to reach out, or the podcast and inclined to reach out. Not positive why. Don't know if Mercury retrograde has anything to do with it. Said with my best Scotty impersonation, as I don't completely subscribe to this either. But this is now the third time in the last week that I've heard this topic.
Wow.
I listened.
What is happening?
I listened to another podcast called Sex with Emily. Honestly, I suggest everyone add this to their list because I've been listening for a few months and have learned so much. And their podcast from February 26th, 2021 episode touched on how women are conditioned to be there for the guy and not actually enjoy their role in sex. A few days later, I was having a conversation with my girlfriend, and she brought up how girls typically take it without joy for so long because they don't know better. I then shared with her about the podcast I just listened to, which led to further conversations, including how do we teach our kids, she has 2 boys, I have a boy and a girl, to not continue this dysfunctional part of society. We didn't reach a conclusion. Now, a couple of days later, I hear Holly's comments on her experiences, which basically mirror what was discussed in the Sex with Emily podcast and my girlfriend's experience. And frankly, I find it heartbreaking. I don't know how, but somehow we need to find a way to educate the masses. Maybe as part of sex ed in school, like how boys, what you're watching in porn isn't the way to carry yourself in the bedroom. And 2, girls, your pleasure matters. Again, 3 times within a week compelled me to reach out and comment. I don't know the answer, but thought maybe with y'all's platform and resources, you could do something or at least have a better idea of which way to look as it pertains to help starting the conversation on a bigger scale. I enjoy and listen to most of y'all's podcasts and show. Appreciate everything you all do to help the masses get through the day. Have a great weekend, David.
Oh,
Wow,
well, thank
David,
you.
that was insightful and not as scary as I thought it was.
Right?
I wasn't sure what to expect.
When someone calls up the station and goes, "What's your email?" You're like, all right, here we go.
You're like, oh, Jesus.
I pissed someone off. Holly, how does this strike you?
Really insightful. And I find it very refreshing and just great that a guy is coming into this awareness and understands. Like Scott, I mean, like, first of all, you're not even to that. Like, you're still dealing with your own mind blown situation of the fact that this is not just a movie trope. It exists in real life.
Right.
Yeah, it sucks. It just sucks because we are at this place where we're not there yet. We're not there.
No.
Because it still is seen as taboo to talk about women's pleasure and make it important and forefront. And I guess it's just that, it also comes down to biology too. It's so much easier for most men, and I'm not blanketing all because there are men that deal with different, either like, ED or like PTSD from, their own thing or whatever. So it's not all men.
Yeah.
But a majority of men, it's pretty easy.
You flick the thing and it
Boop.
The wind blows.
Yeah.
Wear the right pants.
Right. So it's almost like it's not an issue.
Right.
That's just, and it's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's easy. For women, it's so much more difficult. It's like this complex maze of like, did you go to this level and then that level and then you had to come back down here and then you go over there to make it happen. It's almost like, this mythical thing.
Yeah.
Coupled with the fact that we weren't supposed to talk about it.
Right.
Yes.
Like I said in the other podcast, like it's been trained that like, doesn't matter. It's not about you. So shut up. Like you will just enjoy it. That's all you need to say. So it's like both. It's hard to get there in the first place. It's also difficult because you're not supposed to talk about it. And so we're at this weird junction. And I wish there was an answer. And David is so right. Like he said that he had a conversation with his girlfriend or wife or his partner and they didn't come to a conclusion because what do you do?
Right. I mean, I think letting girls, and I'm also, as we're having this conversation, I'm also having another like mind explosion is we're finally realizing, and when I say this, I don't want it to come off as offensive.
It's okay, just say it.
white males are not the center of the universe.
Wait, what?
Right? What? Surprise!
But
hold on. Let me explain,
Okay.
because if you are a white male, straight white male, you're like, okay, here we go. I'm not saying that you, Scott, as a white male,
Yes,
or any other straight white male, you listening, like David, walk around every day saying, I fucking rule this shit. I'm the king of the motherfucking castle.
Yeah,
Look
no,
at me.
I don't think that happens.
It doesn't.
It's
It
just
doesn't.
It's under things that we don't see.
Right. I mean, you have like those racists that think that, but
Well,
that's a whole different story.
We're not using those exceptions.
Right. I'm just saying someone like Scott
the most
or
part.
David, for the most part, you don't think that. But what I mean is our society has been built to cater to straight white men. Literally, our country, the only people that were considered citizens who could vote were white male owners with property. Like that was the base of our society, of our country.
Correct.
And it's just built on that. And so when you think about the standard of beauty in our country, it's not me, it's not you, Holly, it's Scott. You are the standard definition, and everything from there is judged good or bad on that. That's why me, as a black person, no one ever told me growing up, black isn't beautiful. Being bigger is beautiful. Be yourself. It was, oh, look, Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt. Those are the hot guys. Jennifer Aniston, Sandra Bullock. Those are the hot women.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Now, and this is what I love about this moment we're in, is that we're finally getting to this point to where we're understanding that you can look and have a different standard for different people, or there doesn't even need to be a standard, that you can just say, hey, look, Lizzo is beautiful. Holly is beautiful. Scott, you're beautiful. I'm beautiful. Gabri Sidibe is beautiful. Everybody is beautiful in their own right, and there doesn't need to be a standard, and everybody can have a seat at the table, and no one is taking away from anybody, that we all have a seat at the table, and it can be fair. And that's the point that we're getting to. And so to bring it all back to the women issue, we're getting to a point to where we can have these honest conversations. And even with when Maya gets to that age, and you can have a very frank conversation that, hey, sex is not just for the man.
Right.
You need to enjoy yourself. You explore on your own to figure out what that means for you. But when you finally decide to enter into a sexual relationship, it's not about him.
Right.
What you see, what little boys see in porn, that ain't real. I mean, and now, and I think about all those times.
Lots to think about for my kid.
Right?
Like, I don't even know when this is all going to happen, but it's.
But like, I think about those conversations, Holly, we had back in the day when we were with Kramer, and we would be on the air, and we used to like laugh and joke that Holly watches, lesbian porn. And it was like, ooh, ha, ha, but we were too young to really realize at the time the implications of that.
Yeah, I didn't even know why I was watching it, by the way.
Right.
I just knew that that's what did it for me. And then Kramer, and this is not his fault. It was a different time, okay?
And by the way, because I know he listens to every episode, Kramer is amazing. He's a great friend, and we love him.
And this is what I'm saying. Like, it was a different time. So hold on to your knickers. I was like, well, I watched, because we got into like some raunchy shit. He was like, well, what kind of porn you watch? I'm like, well, I like girl on girl porn. And he was like, well, you must be a lesbian. And I was like, but no, I don't think so. And he's like, why would you watch lesbian porn if you're not a lesbian? And I was like, well, I don't know. Because I didn't.
Right.
And he didn't.
Right.
Because obviously 1 + 1 = 1.
Right.
Or 2, whatever. So, it was just a different time. And that was in 2008.
Yeah.
And we're doing our same job now. And that's how far it's come, where now I understand why I watch female porn. I understand it. I get it. And it's not like a titillating thing that I used to turn men on, because I used to just do that. Because like after Kramer was so shocked by it, that was like, I would keep that in my pocket just to like, as a party trick. Be like, well, I watch lesbian porn. And every guy is like, I don't do it for you, bitch. That's the same reason I don't watch you in porn.
Right.
It's not about you. That's what it's about, by the way, because when two women are having their time, I'm way more into it because when there's a dude involved, and I don't know why porn is like this, it's always, if it's a guy and a girl, it's always shot for the guy.
Right. Right.
Every woman in that porn scene looks like they do not want to be there, or it looks like it's painful, or it looks like it's the most fakest fake as F thing that I've ever seen in my life. And maybe I'm just not seeing the right kind, but I stopped after a while because I'm like, I don't want to see this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to see a man being pleasured. I don't care. I don't care about you. I'm trying to do me.
Right.
If I'm watching it for my benefit. So when it's two women, I'm like, we getting our things done.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where that came from. But yeah, it was so weird, but it's cool now that we're actually finally able to talk about it.
Right. And to just dig a little bit deeper into why we make the decisions that we make,
Mhm.
because everything has a reason for why it is the way it is.
Yes.
And the more that we can just stop for a second and just be like, okay, wait a minute. Why is porn like that? Like, why do they do that? Then you start to pull back, and that's where you start to see our society was built, the white man, straight white man, as the centerpiece. And like I said, and I want to repeat this, that's not a blast. I'm not saying that you walk around, but I'm just saying that that's how it is. And now we can start to dismantle that and make sure that everybody feels like they are a part of America. They are a part of the community.
That's a good point. I'm telling you, this conversation, I'm really glad that David wrote the email first and foremost. And I wish there was a better, like a solution.
Right.
But it just does start with, first and foremost, talking about it and accepting what it is and what it isn't.
And realizing. Yeah. And then being able... Awareness. And then being able to move and understand, ingest, and then be like, how can we do better?
Yeah.
The other day on the air, I don't even remember what I was referencing, but we were talking about something, and I threw out the term non-binary. And someone sent me a message, and they were like, that was the first time I've ever heard anyone from a major media outlet use that term, and I've never felt so seen before. Now, that was just one person that wrote that. How many other people that feel that way, that are non-binary, or whatever the case may be, they're like, oh my gosh, I'm being seen. I'm being felt. And the more that we can open ourselves up, and sometimes it's like, oh my gosh, we just used to have boys and girls. Blah, blah, blah. Well, you know what? We don't have slavery anymore. We evolve. And that's what's great about our society, is that we are learning and we're opening up our minds and being open to different people's experiences. And that's what I think makes us fantastic.
Yeah, like, why would you not want to learn something that's different than you and that's really interesting? Like, I find it fascinating in an intellectual way and wanting to know more.
Absolutely.
And maybe it's like a fear thing, or I don't know, like learning about non-binary and learning about, various pronouns and things. That doesn't mean that you suddenly have to become that.
Right.
Like,
right.
I don't know where sometimes people get like, whoa,
too much.
I'm like, no, nobody's. It's like the people that were against gay marriage.
Right.
They're not asking you to get gay married. So that's where it kind of like, I'm just like, don't you even want to like learn?
Right.
No. And the answer is no.
Actually. We're living in a beautiful time, to wrap everything up, that we are being open to different ideas. And I'm realizing, for me personally, that there are so many things that I suppressed because that wasn't the norm. Like, I have a friend of mine, his name is Nicholas, who lives here, and I am so jealous of his bravery, because he is a gay dude. He's mixed and works out muscles for days. Bitch can rock a tank top like nobody. One day you'll see him in Ybor with beautiful tank top, short shorts, tennis shoes. You'll see him the next day with a button up, pants, in high heels. And he's like, I'm a man. He's like, I don't want to be a woman. Sometimes I just want to put on high heels. Why is that wrong?
Yeah, it's like you literally could just wear whatever you want.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why is that wrong?
By the way, oh my God, I saw this great TikTok about this exact same thing. clothing is a societal construct.
Absolutely.
Y'all.
Yes.
Back in Benjamin Franklin's days, men were wearing heels and long dressy coats and had wigs like women.
Mm-hmm.
And that was what men did. And if you didn't do that, people be like, what the fuck is he wearing? Where are your heels, Ben? And then, like, over the years,
Where are
people
your
forgot and they
heels?
switched it, and it just switched. As a matter of fact, the same thing holds true for pink and blue as colors.
Mm-hmm.
Back in, like, the Middle Ages, they used to put boys in pink because it was seen as, like, a strong, bold color. And they put girls in blue because it was, like, pastel. And they just did that, and then it flipped, and now we just have to deal with that. So, like, it's all made up. It's made up, and we've just been
bamboozled.
Correct.
No, not bamboozled. We've just gone with it.
Oh, absolutely.
We didn't question
because why would we?
Right.
We got all of our own shit that we're gonna have bills to deal with. We're not trying to like pick apart pink, blue high heels. Who's wearing them?
Right. But now we are, because we as a society have the time and we're questioning. Like, I want to wear heels one day. But I've always been like, oh, girl, I can't do that. Like, I remember years ago when we were in Panama City, when I was in Scott's role, and I was like, I want a side hustle. And I was like, ooh, maybe I can do drag on the side, because, like, I love performing, can't sing a lick, but I got some motherfucking stage presence, and I can perform some shit, but I can't sing. But I was like, ooh, how would that affect my career? If people like, I can't be like a radio host and a drag queen, like, ooh, no. I was like, maybe I'll go to Tallahassee. I'll do it there. And of course, I'm too lazy and I never did it.
Yeah, I'm like, who wants to drive to Tallahassee?
I know, like, fuck that shit. But, like, why didn't I just do it? Like, what would have been the problem? Like, why didn't I just do that? Like, you do trivia, Scott, on the side. You could be a personal trainer on the side. I could have done drag. What's wrong with that? But those societal norms I put on myself, and I said, nope. I took that off the table for myself.
Right.
I could have been on RuPaul's Drag Race.
Could have been.
No, I can't, so it's fine.
Oh, yeah.
Well, there you go. If you ever have a comment like David, thank you, David, for messaging. You can always shoot me an email, Miguel at hot1015tampabay.com. Or if you want some Miguel and Holly stickers. Scott, what is your social media?
At Scott Tavlin, SCOTTTAVLIN.
Holly.
Radio Holly on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter.
And mine is Miguel Fuller, MiguelFuller on all the social platforms. And make sure to please rate and review the show. It means so much when you do that. So if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, please, please, please do that. And then thanks again to Connor for coming on, and make sure to look up the virtual 5K that I hosted and have fun with that.
Nice.
We'll see you next time.
Catch up with the previous episodes of the Miguel and Holly Uncensored podcast from Hot 101.5.
Just hit up the Hot 101.5 app, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts.
Search Miguel and Holly Uncensored.